Let's look at three moves that if we do them in sequence, we can work towards improving ankle dorsiflexion. So ankle dorsiflexion, this is dorsiflexion, this is plantar flexion. We want to run well, we need to be able to get a good amount of dorsiflexion, at least 15 degrees here, if we're going to be able to use our glutes, not overstress our calf, not work the foot too hard, etc. And a lot of people struggle with this for a wide range of reasons. So let's look at the three moves first, and then we can talk about why they work and what we're really looking to achieve with them. So first, it's going to be a front foot elevated split squat. We're going to be here. We're going to set up long enough front to back so that when I lower, my joints are about 90 degrees. Now, as I go through this, I'm actually going to be pushing back a little bit at the top and then just dropping my pelvis straight down. You might be tempted to really push this forward and try to create that dorsiflexion. We actually want to keep this knee from going any bit past here and then pushing back. So drop, push back. Weight's going to be a little bit more in the back foot, and you might feel this back quad. I'm going to do about 5 to 10 of those front foot elevated split squats, and you'll want the box to be like 3 to 6 inches high. This is about 4.5. After that, we're going to do some ankle inversion and eversion. So on the ankle you're trying to work, the one that you just had forward, you're going to pick up the other foot, then I'm going to roll it out, and I'm going to roll it in. So I'm trying to pick up the inside of my foot, then I'm trying to pick up the outside of my foot and just try to create some space in the foot. If it is too hard to do this on one foot, we can put the other one down, just create it there. But we're really trying to get a good range of motion as the foot wobbles back and forth. And then third, two really good options. This is a banded ankle distraction. So I'm going to take this heavy band. I'm going to put it right on the front of my ankle. I'm going to step forward so that it really wants to pull me back, and then drive my knee really far over my toe until my heel floats. So I'm driving forward and pushing my knee as far forward as I can over my toe while the band wants to pull me back. And that is a banded ankle distraction. I can also do something like an elevated combat stretch where on a surface, put up, drive my knee forward over my toes until this heel wants to float, hold onto the bench for support, pull the toes up to the shin so that I feel this tib anterior work and get that stretch in the Achilles. Doing those three movements in sequence is really helpful to improve dorsiflexion, because as we go through this, we're going to create some rotation of the tibia. In order for this to happen, the tibia needs to be able to rotate. And a lot of us get stuck here, especially if you have a lot of damage in the ankle. And if we are stuck with the tibia externally rotated, we can't go forward as much because it hits a bone. So we want to be able to create some of this tibial rotation, and keeping the knee back and pushing ourselves backward at the top and then dropping our pelvis directly down is going to just create some of that space in the connection of the tibia to the talus. From there, going here and doing these inversions and eversions is going to force the actual bones of the foot to move a little bit so that these like flat joints that go through our foot about here and here create a little bit of space so that we can create better pronation, because we have to be able to pronate in order to create that dorsiflexion. And then finally, once we've got a little bit of movement in the tibia and a little bit of movement in the foot itself, we can really drive the knee forward over the toes, be it with the band for assistance or just on a bench, and really try to drive the knee in line with the second toe, get it as far forward as we can, and using those three in sequence can be super helpful. It will take time. Really increasing the range of motion in your ankle is not going to be an overnight process. It's going to be kind of a slog, but if you do these movements, probably 5 to 10 of the split squats, 5 to 10 of these like inversion, eversion, and then 30 to 60 seconds or like 10 by 5-second holds on the elevated combat stretch, then we should see progress over time. and hope that helps. Good luck with the ankle dorsiflexion. It is a pain. It is necessary for running. It will be a long-term process, but if we can improve it, we will do a lot better and see a lot fewer injuries. A couple things I forgot to mention before hitting stop is first, you'll probably need a fairly thick band to do that banded ankle distraction. The smallest I would use would be this. It's about 1 inch wide, and this still is probably not going to cut it for most people. You might be able to double it over, but it's going to be a struggle. You probably need something at least this thick, which is like 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. And if you're doing this in your house and you don't have a big squat rack to use, you might need to hitch it around something like your bed. That is where I would do that if I were at home, because I don't have like a heavy bookcase with an exposed bottom or anything like that. So my bed is the only place that I can really hitch this that isn't going to do damage to the furniture, that is heavy enough to not move. And then you also don't need something like this or a really formal box. I literally just use two Tim Ferriss books because they're like 4 to 6 inches high, and do the front elevated front squats on that. And then you could use like a coffee table for the combat stretch if you're going to go that route. But it doesn't need to be equipment limiting. The only thing you'd really need would be a thick band for the ankle distraction, and everything else you can definitely do this at home with whatever equipment you might have.